I want to do another short video about actual tyranny, real tyranny, and some of the best in society at dishing out real tyranny, prosecutors. So we got a doozy here. And unfortunately, some of these local stories you don't hear about unless it's nationally done. And so this is no exception. This is actually a fairly old story. It's a few years old, but was just recently reported in Reason magazine. And so you can see here, prosecutor extorts $300,000 out of alleged drug dealer by threatening his entire family with charges. So this actually happened a few years ago, but it's just being reported now. I think it started in 2019. Imagine going through this. Instead of just being asked to put a mask on, your life is being destroyed by a lawyer. So a prosecutor is injecting new life into the idea that you can buy your freedom in the U.S. criminal legal system. Well, that's just the way the legal system works, whether it's the United States. If you're rich, you don't get held accountable for your actions. And even if you are charged, you just pay a fine. Here, if you're poor, oh, forget about it. So it says here, as an assistant Jefferson Commonwealth's attorney in Louisville, Kentucky, Joshua Porter charged Patrick Hart in 2019 with multiple counts of drug trafficking after the St. Matthews Police Department and the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office seized a collection of marijuana pills from his home. As the Kentucky Center for Investigating Reporting noted, the government seized more than that, taking a total of $380,000 and 3 Rolex watches. They also froze a bank account with $123,000 belonging to his parents who had not been charged with a crime. Parents had actually been the ones to call. So what this guy Porter did, now I always like to put a face to the story. So typically you don't get pictures of lower level prosecutors unless it's a really big story that they're a really big case that they're dealing with. But I was able to actually get video of this guy. And so this is on WLKY.com.
Up to the expectations of both Mr. Coleman and Mr. Wine, and continue to work toward the important goal of making our community, both in Louisville and the Western District of Kentucky, a safer place to live.
Yeah, a safer place to live. You're making it safe for the community to be safe from the police and you? Oh, so what it says here, not only, so he's threatening to charge the parents, and what he wants him to do, the next day, Porter sent a deal. Forfeit the assets we seized, really stole, and we'll drop the charges against your family. Card declined, setting in motion a legal odyssey that ended in October of last year. So it took a few years. The dubious charges against his family were ultimately dismissed, as were the charges against Card himself. But we all know how this, ends. To meet that end, he still had to pay a steep price. Though the government would return the watches and unfreeze the bank account, it would keep $305,000 in cash. This is real tyranny. This is actual real tyranny. See, and I want to just trigger those loud people in the audience who don't think that Wikipedia, it's all just literally fake. It's like CNN. It's just stupid. It's more of an aggregate. You see these things here? They're footnotes. That's the actual source, not Wikipedia. I mean, please. Is anyone going to say that asset forfeiture isn't a real problem in the United States? Is anyone going to really argue and put in the comments? And if you do, they don't think it's a problem, you don't think it's real tyranny, then let me know in the comments. But asset forfeiture is where, without being charged with a crime, it's supposed to be a crime deterrent, that they take the proceeds from the crime to deter people from making a profit from crime, and it's supposed to be a deterrent. I'm sure most would agree it's pretty arguable that it's not. So here, so some jurisdictions specifically use the term confiscation. I like the phrase stealing, because if you and I did it, it would be stealing, right? Some jurisdictions specifically use the term confiscation instead of forfeiture. The alleged purpose of asset forfeiture is to disrupt criminal activity by confiscating assets that potentially could have been beneficial to the individual or organization. In 2014, law enforcement took more property than burglars did from American citizens. And there's the footnote there. Christopher Ingram Law enforcement took more stuff from people than burglars did last year, to Washington Post. I don't have the time. I don't want to go through in this video. If anyone doubts, just check it out. I wouldn't think that too many people who follow the No State Project would seriously argue that, but it is something that's done on a regular basis. And here, $305,000. So this is an example of actual tyranny. So you do no knock warrants, and the fact that they use they steal your assets without actually charging you. So here, with this horrible, with the Card family, they charged they froze a $123,000 account that belonged to his parents. Didn't even belong to him. This is just outright theft by this Porter guy. I missed this because it wasn't, apparently I looked, it wasn't really reported nationally. I'm glad that Reason did do that so that I was able to hear about it. I want to pass it on. I don't want something like this to go under the radar. People need to know about this. This, of course, is another reason why it's important, at least at the local level, why it's so important to actually vote. I know, I get it. I know some people say, I was one of those never vote guys too. Ian Freeman of Free Talk Live helped change my perception of that. See, we have Larry Krasner, who I've talked about here on the show before. And the last time I did an update with him, and he's the DA in Philly, in Pennsylvania, 9 innocent people that his office prosecuted before he was elected. 9 innocent people have been exonerated by him and his office. So he's done good. So getting somebody in, a good, honest person, I know he's an attorney. There are a few good ones out there. He's making a difference. So getting someone like Larry Krasner elected could really put the brakes on this mass theft called civil asset forfeiture, which people like this Porter guy are doing on a regular basis and just destroying families. Far, far more insidious and dangerous and to everyone's liberties than wearing a mask. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark. This is the No State Project channel. If you want to help support so I can do more videos more frequently, you could do so in the description. And if you disagree with what I presented here, then let me know in the comments.